Hello, everybody. Unfortunately, I have to make my presentation in. Unfortunately, I have to make my presentation in English. I hope it's fine for everybody. So first, actually, I would like to thank ISAF for organizing such an event. It's fantastic to be with you here. And second, actually, I would like to thank you, ProLine, for enabling us actually to be on this platform and showing actually our experience in smart cities and more focusing actually on IoT services. My presentation actually will be divided into two parts. The first one, I will try actually to give you an overview of what's going on actually in IoT services from a technological perspective. My presentation will be very objective, so I'm not actually to take, let's say, the part of side of somebody from a technological part. I will be really, let's say, having, let's say, an objective view. The second part of my presentation, I will show you, let's say, some cases, use cases, live commercial use cases that actually you can see wherever you go, actually in Europe, in Asia, even actually in America. So before starting the presentation, maybe I can just show you a few, let's say, a little bit of information actually regarding Actility. Actility is a French company. We are partnering actually with ProLine for the Turkish market. We have, let's say, 60% of LPWA Lora market with significant reference like NTT in Japan, like SoftBank in Japan, like Orange, like KPN, like Proximus, Swisscom, etc. Those are, let's say, operators, but not only operators. We have also significant references for municipalities, and I have listed some of them actually down in my presentation, specifically, let's say, in the US. Philadelphia, Denver, Chicago, Seattle. So basically, they're using our technology to offer IoT services, using our platform actually to have, let's say, a smart city approach for their own municipalities. Actility actually also raised 75 million euro a few months ago. We have new shareholders coming in, like Foxconn, like Cisco, and Inmarsat also. So let's move on. So basically, IoT, it's everybody's talking about IoT. So IoT will trigger definitely, let's say, more revenues for enterprise, particular enterprise, for operators. Everybody's talking about it. So you can use IoT actually to target some specific, let's say, market segments like smart city. What kind of services actually you can offer in smart city? You can offer, let's say, smart parking. You can offer, let's say, smart lighting. You can offer facility management also. You can also, let's say, use IoT services to address energy. You save energy. For example, let's say energy companies like utilities, they can use IoT to detect leakage on the pipes. So this is an example. You can use IoT actually to get the consumption of a user and then actually bill them. You don't need to send somebody on every building actually to take the consumption actually of the users. You can just get that information through a sensor which is connected to the meter, and then actually you will send digital billing through an email, through an SMS. So basically this will enable the utility actually to give a user let's say a real-time consumption, okay? And also this gives actually the utility the possibility to do, let's say, online billing. You can also use IoT for logistics. You need to be able actually to track any asset, whether at the airport, whether actually it is a port, or whether actually you are in a logistic area. For example, FedEx are using actually our technology to track all their assets in some specific warehouses in the US. You can use also IoT for agriculture. So basically, every inspection today is done manually. You have to send people on site actually to do the inspection. But if you install sensors on the ground, actually you can measure the level of, let's say, humidity. You can measure the level of of water, and then actually sending that information to a backend, and then actually to take the real, let's say, management decision. So how to do that? Actually, which kind of technology you need to opt for? So basically, today there are two. I think it's taking some time. Okay. today you have two kind of, let's say, approach. Oh yeah, good. So today you have two kind of approach. Either you go for IoT using traditional technology. When I say traditional technology, is mainly oriented on 3G, 4G, RF mesh, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Okay, but unfortunately that is just a piling up different kind of technologies. When you are piling up different kind of technologies, it has a huge impact in CapEx and OpEx, of course. And you need also licenses to do those kind of services. However, if you go for the latest technologies we call them, let's say, LPWA. So basically, for LPWA you have one single network to manage, and you have to focus only actually on the vertical services. So what is behind LPWA? So LPWA, you have different kind of technologies. LPWA, clearly it's the best compromise between the battery life and also the coverage. Okay, so basically if you want the best solution with, let's say, which consume less battery and to have the biggest, let's say, the wider coverage, it's LPWA technology. What kind of technologies are behind LPWA, let's say, work? You have LoRa is one of them. You have LTE-M and NB-IoT. Those are mainly pushed by traditional telco vendors like Ericsson, like Huawei, like ZTE. Then actually you have also Sigfox. Okay, Sigfox is a French company. And you have RPMA. RPMA, this is a technology where actually it's Ingenu. The company behind it is called Ingenu. It's an American company. So basically, LPWA is the best compromise in terms actually of the battery and the coverage that you would like to address. So when you decide actually to go for LPWA, then you need to pick up the right technology. And in order to do that, you need to go through, let's say, risk analysis. Okay, which one should I pick up? Should I go for LoRa? Should I go for NB-IoT? Should I go for LTE? Should I go for Sigfox? Should I go for Ingenu technology? In order to do that, so this is actually a risk analysis that you can do. This is not coming from Actility. This is not coming from me. This is actually coming from, I guess it's Gartner. Okay, Gartner came up actually with this risk analysis. So the less risky one is LoRa. Okay, clearly when you look at it, it's clearly, let's say, LoRa. Then actually you have NB-IoT. Keep in mind that 80% of your needs in terms of IoT can be addressed by LoRa. Keep it in mind, really, 80% of your needs can be addressed with LoRa technology. The 20% remaining can be addressed by NB-IoT. That's why actually from our perspective, we support LoRa protocol and NB-IoT at the same time, because we clearly consider that LoRa technology and NB-IoT, they are complementary. Sigfox and RPMA, they are completely proprietary technologies. It's a proprietary technologies, and it's one company, one technology. Sigfox is one company, one technology. If a company fails, okay, you fail. And you have, and all the private data for Sigfox and RPMA, they are not in the domestic market. The private data goes automatically actually to the US or to France. So, so you have to keep in mind that actually the less risky technology is clearly LoRa, okay, to address 80% of your request, and also NB-IoT when NB-IoT would be ready. So that said, we can. So who is behind LoRa, by the way? Maybe you can ask the question. So LoRa, it's not only one company, two companies, or technology which is developed actually in a garage. LoRa, you have an alliance behind it. It's actually called LoRa Alliance, and it has been set actually in 2015. The co-founder of a LoRa Alliance are IBM, Symantec, and also Actility. So the company actually I'm representing in front of you today. And by the way, our CTO, Olivier Herson, he's co-chairing the technical board of the LoRa Alliance. So basically, Actility knows perfectly actually what's going on there. And by the way, our CTO is helped by Alper. Alper is an American-Turkish person, and he's living actually in Istanbul. Unfortunately, he's not here, but maybe next time actually we would have a pleasure to have him actually with us. So The Lora Alliance is composed of 500 members. So it's very solid on the market. 500 members, where you find small, medium, and large enterprise. I can mention Cisco is part of the alliance. HP is part of the alliance. IBM is part of the alliance. Schneider Electric, that everybody knows, actually is part of the alliance. This is actually from the technology vendor perspective, but I can also mention operators, and we have Orange, we have KPN, we have SoftBank, I mean, who are members of Lora Alliance. So clearly, if you want to let's say have a project in IoT, clearly you need to look to the Lora Alliance, who are the different members of it, because today the Lora Alliance, and you can check it everywhere, it's the widest, let's say, IoT ecosystem. I mean, you can take, let's say, proprietary technology, you will find sensors, you will find applications, but at a certain level, actually, you will be stuck. However, Lora Alliance is the largest IoT ecosystem, and it's standardized. Let's move to what actually has been, who deployed actually Lora's network. So basically, 30 of 43 national large LoRaWAN network have been deployed commercially thanks to Actility platform. Okay. When you look actually to this map, you can see clearly that it's mainly tier 1, tier 2 operators who deployed it. We can start from the US with Comcast. Okay, Comcast are deploying actually their IoT services with Actility. We can look to Europe with KPN, with Orange, with Swisscom, Proximus. We can go actually to Asia with SoftBank, with NTT, with NNN in Australia, and also Spark in Australia, which is the second largest operator actually in New Zealand. Sorry. So, what is the architecture here? So it's an easy architecture, by the way. You have 4 layers. Okay. I start actually with the right hand. You have the applications. So the application could be in Turkey. It could be based in the cloud. The applications is very much linked to the sensor. If you are deploying, let's say, water metering sensors, you need to have a water metering application be communicating automatically with the sensor. If you are deploying a tracking, let's say, solution, okay, the trackers that you are deploying, for example, in a port, okay, or in your logistics area, is very much linked to a tracking application. Then the application is connected actually to a core network, okay? We call it actually Actility Network Server in IP. Then actually the core network actually is connected to the gateways in IP. It could be 3G, 4G, Ethernet, it could be, let's say, fiber, it could be whatever you want, but it has to be IP. Then actually the gateways, maybe actually the majority of the people around in this room, maybe they don't know how big actually the gateways, but a lot of gateways is big like that, by the way. It's a very small unit. I mean, we're not talking about, let's say, big antennas. The antenna is really big like that. It's very small. And the gateways are communicating with the sensors using ISM band frequency. So ISM band, for people who don't know, are free frequencies. You can use them wherever you want. The best frequency that you can use is actually 868 megahertz. Okay? And the beauty is actually the distance between the gateway, okay, and the sensors can go up to 15 kilometers. This is the best case. It might be 10, it might be 11, it might be 12, it might be 9, but in the best conditions, actually, the distance, okay, between the gateways and the sensors actually can go up to 15 kilometers. The other one beauty is actually the sensors themselves, they are not powered. You don't need to power the sensors because every sensor here has an embedded battery, lithium, okay, which can last up to 10 years. Okay, so this is the beauty. I mean, the distance, the battery life, and also actually the cost. Actually, deploying a LoRa network is far less expensive for, let's say, a logistic area, for a city, for an operator, for a municipality to deploy a LoRa network than, for example, using traditional technologies or trying actually to deploy a proprietary technology like Sigfox or deploying an NB-IoT/LTE-M network. So you can do the exercise and look also to the ecosystem itself. Let's see. Okay, so I have addressed all, let's say, the trend, the technology, what we can offer you. Let's go for some examples, actually, of applications which have been deployed. When I say deployed, I'm not talking about POC or trials. This is what I'm talking actually is really live commercial deployments. So let's start with the first one. So this has been deployed actually by an operator in Belgium called Proximus. So the first one is actually food control. Today, I mean, every country where you go, you have, let's say, some officers in charge actually of controlling if the food that the restaurants or the shops they are in good conditions for the consumers. So instead of paying, let's say, a lot of people actually driving, going around actually to check that, actually, you have a possibility to install, let's say, sensors on the fridges, okay, and collect that information. So basically, when you have a back end and collecting that information and you check whether actually in this area, this shop, this restaurant, okay, you have, let's say, food, or maybe actually detecting that actually the door of the fridge is open, basically you can take the right actions and maybe send a message, call the restaurant to tell them, okay, please check your fridges or check your food. The second example is actually smart parking. Smart parking is a very interesting one because actually it brings money actually to the municipalities, and the municipalities actually they need that money for their budgets. So today, without that technology, we know that the municipalities are losing, let's say, 30% of that budget because for two reasons. Because people they don't pay. This is the first one, and the second thing is actually because the municipality they have to pay officers to go around to check actually the people they have paid for their parking slots. So instead of doing that, actually you can deploy, let's say, smart parking solutions based on LoRa and manage it actually remotely. So this is the second example actually I wanted to share with you. Let's move actually to the third one. Third one, it has been deployed actually by KPN in the Netherlands. As a city, you have to take care of the billboards for the traffic. Basically, instead of paying somebody going around and around actually to check the infrastructure of the city, of the roads, you can position, let's say, sensors there, and when actually the billboards go down for any reason, because it was too windy, because of an accident, or because somebody, let's say, broke the billboards intentionally, so you can put sensors there and then actually monitor that actually remotely. If, let's say, the billboards are going down, then you decide actually to send somebody on site actually to look at it and maybe to replace it. The fourth example I wanted to share with you, still actually with KPN, is waste management. So every city has to take care actually of the waste of the people living actually on those cities. So if you are having, for example, in 1,000 trucks, there is no point actually to send 1,000 trucks actually in the city to collect the bins. You need to install sensors on the bins, okay, and then actually collect the information. Where are let's say, the trash which are full? Based on that information, you can decide to send maybe only 600 trucks in the streets in the city to collect the trash. Here you will be making, let's say, you are optimizing, because you are not using, let's say, all the trucks. You are not using all the people who are working for you. It's less fuel consumption. And the fourth one, which is very important here, is also pollution. As you don't have, let's say, too many trucks actually outside, you are not, let's say, creating pollution. So waste management is something very, very important here, specifically actually if you want to optimize the collection of the trash. So the fifth example I wanted to share with you is actually smart tracking. When we talk about tracking, actually you can track every asset. I mean, it could be individuals, it could be vehicles, it could be pallets, it could be a small cart going around, it could be a container. So basically, you can track every asset. We have some requests, for example, for the Indian market. There's a big construction company, they wanted to track the individuals for safety reasons. Initially it was for safety reasons, but in reality they wanted to track the people because they wanted to track the tools, because everybody who was working actually on the field, construction field, they use tools. But they noticed that actually they are losing a lot of tools, and they wanted to make a pairing between the people who are using the tools and the tools themselves. So when the people are going out from the construction sites, they need to leave, let's say, the tools actually on site. So the idea is actually to make sure that actually the people, they don't leave the construction site with the tools and then resell them actually on the market. But clearly here with Lora, with a smart tracking solution, it's clearly, let's say, to track any kind of asset. It could be individuals, it could be outdoor tracking, it could be indoor tracking. We also enable, let's say, indoor tracking where it is a challenge for GPS, because inside actually you don't have a GPS. Whereas actually with Lora, you have the possibility actually to track any asset indoor also. Okay, so I can call actually this slide Smart Agriculture, Smart Environment. As I said at the beginning, you can have, let's say, today, from an agriculture perspective, if you want to do, let's say, inspection, you need to send people on the field to check actually if the plants are growing well or not. The problem actually of the field of agriculture is actually you don't have any connectivity. Clearly you lack connectivity because the farms actually are too big. So the idea here is actually to install on the fields sensors communicating with the gateways, and those sensors actually they have a lot of features. I mean, they can get, let's say, the level of oxygen, they can get the level actually of humidity, they can check actually the temperature. They have a lot of, let's say, parameters that those sensors that you put actually on the field can collect. And then actually when you get access to that information, you can make, let's say, the right management decision. Should we send, let's say, a pipe there where actually we can give more water? Should we, let's say, send somebody there to put more pesticide? Should we put next time actually less pesticide? Because actually the sensors then by themselves, they have a possibility to measure the level of pesticide which are put there. So agriculture is something very critical. Everybody is fighting actually to have, let's say, more land and more productivity. And thanks to this technology, you can have more productivity. If you look to, for example, some countries in the Middle East, they are buying lands, big lands actually in Africa, to produce actually apples, to produce potatoes, to produce rice, and then actually to bring that actually to the Middle East. So agriculture is is very important, because the next war, or let's say the next critical aspect for every country, I mean, it's oil, it's water, but the next one is going to be food. Okay, you have to feed your population, and in order to do that, you need to improve the productivity. In order to improve the productivity, you need to have, let's say, the right technology, cost-effective technology. The last example I would like to share with you, it's more related actually to measure the level of, let's say, the customer satisfaction level. This device, from my perspective, should be installed in every administration. When I have to deal, for example, I don't know, with a health service, after the service, I should be given that small device. It's big like that, by the way. You have 3 buttons, okay, on which actually you can click whether you are satisfied, moderately satisfied, or not satisfied at all. And that device is big like that. The battery is embedded in. You don't need to recharge it, and the battery actually can last 10 years. I wish I can see that in every hospital here in Istanbul, because we do have it in Dubai. Some hospitals actually, they do have that device. I wish I can see it at the airport. Today actually, in some airports, actually, for example, Riyadh airport, they have, let's say, the same, let's say, idea, but you have an iPad. An iPad actually is very expensive, first. The second thing is the iPad, you need a Wi-Fi connectivity, so it's expensive. The third thing is actually, the iPad has to be powered. So basically, you need actually to be connected to the electricity. So the airport has to pay for that too. Whereas, actually, this small device, actually over there, that you can see actually on the slide, it's embedded battery can last 10 years and connect actually with a LoRa gateway, and you don't need actually to power it. And the cost of that device is far, far, far less expensive than an iPad. That's pretty much actually from my side. I would like also to, again, to thank actually ISAF as organizing actually this event. Thanks also to our Proline, to our partner, for enabling us actually to be on this platform to share our experience with you. For any further questions, we will be more than happy actually to help you. We're going to be staying actually in the audience, or please contact Proline for any further details. Thank you very much.